And there are three terms that we coined, and now we see them popping up elsewhere: fixed, flexible, and mixed. And what we mean by that is if it's fixed, you must use those numbers. 2025 is the top header here, so that means you must use 2025 unless it's stated elsewhere, which in this section it is not. So Donna is going to build one of the hands. One way you could make 4 flowers, 2025, and then 2 pungs of either 2s or 5s.
This is going to be a great hand. I'm looking forward to this one. So we're going to do 4 flowers. Then we're going to do 2 crack. We're going to do a soap for the 0, another 2 crack, and a 5 crack.
And what a lot of new players might get confused with is just remember the color on the card indicates how many suits you need to use, not which suit. So it's great that Donna used crack as the first example. Since she used crack, what are you going to use for the 2s?
I'm going to use the other 2 suits, which are dots and bams. So 3 2 dots and 3 2 bams.
So you see here the suit. We're using 1, 2, 3 suits. We are not using 2 dot for the 2025, which we could have, but in that case, the 2s would have had to be crack and bam. Now, keeping that up, Donna is going to show another example of how this can be made.
So now I'm going to do the pungs in 5s. So I need 3 5 dots, and I need 3 5 bams.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun hand.
So what's interesting about this section is if you're using the 2s, here, go back and just put the 2s down here again. If you were using the 2s, this is a hand where if you expose those 3 2s, you are still not committed to any other hand in this section. Every single section, if you're using 2s, has a pung of 2s in it. So this could be a very flexible section for that. So now, let's see if there's any other notes we have on that. Nope. So now we're going to go on to number 2. So the second hand is a pung of 2s and then a Kong of the white dragon used a 0. And people said it was confusing in our post that we wrote reminder dragons are a suit. Here, it is not a suit. The white dragons are what we call suit neutral. And if you forget that, it's on the top of your card. So Donna is going to build 3 2s.
So I'm going to do 3 2s in cracks, and then we need 4 soaps, a white dragon. Then I'm going to do 3 2 bams and 3
One more.
5 bams.
You need
I know.
one more
Where
time.
is it? Here it is.
So getting used to this hand, a lot of the hands are 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind. This is what we call a universal backup hand. And what we mean by that is you can have tiles, start thinking of where you're going in a certain section, and pick in jokers, and you could dump a lot of jokers in this section. Every single grouping is joker friendly.
I like what Dara said, 3 4 3 4.
Yep.
That's the pattern, and that's how it helps you remember.
And the 2 suits are required here. You could also do dots for any of these. So this could be dots, or this could be dots, because these do not count as a suit. So you want to just add 3 2 dots on the front just to show what that looks like instead. So that would also be a valid hand. Beautiful. Well, let's move on. I feel like we're doing an infomercial. And now, coming to you from the West Palm Beach tournament, we have number 3. Here we have, surprise, surprise, the year 2025. Then we have, so that's it's not a Kong, but that's 4 tiles. 4 individual tiles, so no jokers. 2025 are 4 singles. Then we have a pung, which is 3 identical tiles. 5, 3 identical tiles. And 4 dragons. So here, the dragons could be any suit. What's interesting, and I'm not sure yet because I didn't look yet at what Donna's doing, If you use the white dragon as the DDDD, you have to make sure you have a joker. And the reason for that is you need one white dragon as a 0 for the 2025. So here,
So here, I'm gonna do 2, crack, 0, 2, 5. Then we're gonna go 3 2 bams, 3 5 bams, and like Derek said, if I have soaps and I'm gonna use them, you need 4 of them, I need to use a joker because I've used one in the 2025 hand.
so now can you replace this with green?
Yes. We're gonna show all the different ways.
So if you replace that with green.
I don't need to use a joker
But then what do you have to change here?
because I have.
Oh, I shouldn't have done
No,
green.
it
That
has to
made
be
it harder for
opposing.
you.
No,
No,
I gotta change all the
yeah,
hands.
no, I made it, actually, make it red. Change it red, because that'll be easier to change. So change this to red.
It has to be opposing.
Yes, so this is an easier change for you. Sorry about that. And now, can you do the 2025 in dots?
Yep. 2, 0, 2.
We want to make it easy. So here it says, any three suits.
So we've got dots, bams, and opposing dragons.
Yay! Let's move on.
The last hand is concealed hand.
I just want to go back to one thing just to see. Yes, okay, we talked about that. So here we have a pair of flowers. Then we have a pung, 3 identical 2s in any suit. 3 zeros, which once again are suit neutral. Another pung of 2s, which is a different color. And then a pung of 5. So this has had a lot of questions, and we confirmed this with the league. Just because on the card the 5 is in the same color or similar color to the 0, it does not mean those 5s have to be dots. They just have to not match the 2 pungs of 2s. So let's see how Donna did this.
A pair of flowers. I'm gonna do the 2s and dots. So you need 3 2 dots. You need 3 soaps or white dragons.
Which in this case are not dragons associated with the dots, they're just zeros.
Right, and we need 3 2 bams, so it's not the same suit. And then we need a 3rd suit of cracks, 5s.
So this is a great example for somebody who's new to this card or to this game. If you look at this and think in terms of color, you might think this is flower, and then if you associate dot with blue, blue, and then the 2 is green and the 5 is red. But look at how it's written on the card. The color does not dictate suit, only how many suits. And in this case, the 5 does not have to match the 0 because the 0 is suit neutral. So that wraps up just this first video on this section. We hope that it was helpful, and if you have other questions about the 2025 section, let us know, or any of the hands on the section. We invite you to come to Mahjong Community, or if you're on Instagram, check out our giveaway.
And coming up on Monday, April 7th, is our annual card review with BARNEY, GALLASSIO. So there's still time to sign up. There's the link. There's a QR code. We hope to see you in the Zoom where it happens. And
Yes.
Get that when you come.
If you are in South Florida, we are doing an in-person class. We're returning to the Bridge Club. It's April 27th. We're going to be going over all the different nuances of the card, hands to pivot to, defense, have a delicious lunch, and then after that, social game. You could register with a group or you could register on your own. And if you have any other questions, feel free to email us. You could register on modernmahjong.com. And if you aren't following us, what are you waiting for? We share all this great information. We really appreciate everybody who is sharing our posts, inviting friends. Our one request is that you don't cut and paste and rebrand our stuff. This takes us a lot of time to go through all this material, and we are happy you're here. With that, have a great day and a great game. Dara and Donna at Modern Mahjong are back, and we are going through hands just to help you understand how they work on the 2025 card. Today's video is on 2468 section. There are not as many confusing hands about the white dragon here as we did yesterday, but this is going to be for 2468. The first hand down is going to explain his addition.
it's the second hand in this section. You need 2 flowers. You need 4 twos in one suit. You need 4 fours in a different suit and 4 sixes in a third suit. So 2 plus 4 is 6.
And 2, 4, 6, 8, like we talked about in the 2025 section, the title of this section is a number. So that makes it fixed. So unless it's said in parentheses, any numbers that add up or anything, it is these only. So you could only do 2 plus 4 is 6, or
Now we're gonna do 2 flowers, 4 twos, 2 plus 6 in cracks equals,
and we need a third suit.
we need 4 8s, excuse me. So 2 plus 6 is 8 in 3 suits.
And Donna, asking as a devil's advocate, where can I put jokers in this hand?
You can put jokers in here. You can put jokers here. You can put here. You can put more than one joker here. But you can never put a joker with a pair of flowers.
And what if I had 3 jokers in my hand and someone threw that 6 crack? Can I
Yes,
have just 1 6 crack?
yes, you may. So you have this, call, 6 crack, and I can use 3 jokers.
And in that case, your flowers wouldn't be up yet.
Right.
And what if you have everything you need? All of these tiles are in your hand. All of these tiles are in your hand. Everything here. And somebody throws a 2 dot. So can you call the 2 dot? So here, put up a 2 dot.
Someone's throwing
If
it.
someone just threw that, can you claim that and you didn't put this up yet. You're putting up your 2 dot. And now, can you complete your hand, put up your rest of your flowers?
2 flowers.
Can you complete your hand with a Kong of jokers?
Yes, Darren, you may. I have a
I
Kong
know
of
the answer.
4 jokers. Isn't that nice? And you
So-
know what everyone's gonna say? Oh, you have all the jokers.
Exactly.
But
So you would never have this during the game, but I just shook the whole camera when I said that. You would never have this during the game, but when you win, there's no need in anything of 3 or more identical tiles for a natural tile. So we digress, but now we're gonna move on to the next 2, 4, 6, 8 hand that we had reviewed. So the next one we went over was 4 flowers and then a single. So it is a group of singles, 2, 4, 6, 8 in one suit. And then in the 2 other suits, either 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, 8, 8. And we know it's repetitive, and if you've played for a long time, you might think, why did they write this out? But for new players, we just wanted to let them know that if you have 3 2s, your other pung must be 3 2s. If you have 3 4s, your other pung must be 3 4s. So let's see how Donna's setting it up for us.
so this is gonna be fun. So you need 4 flowers. Okay. Then you need a single 2, a single 4, single 6, a single 8.
So that would never be an exposure until you have Mahjong. You would never expose singles.
Then you
And
need
no jokers
no
in there.
jokers, 3 2s in an opposite suit, and then another 3 2s in another suit.
So since it says, and when I ask these questions, this is not me asking, I'm posing for the audience. Since it has any even number, can this be 2s and this be 4s?
No, they must match.
So if you did 3 4 bams, you would have to do 3
4 cracks.
exactly. So I predict this is going to be a very popular hand.
Remember,
Me
it can
also.
also be 6s and 8s. So it says in the parentheses, any even number.
So one thing we say to each other all the time is read those parentheses when it comes to teaching people how to play. Okay, moving on. The next hand that a lot of people are asking us about is number 7. So this is a pair of flowers, a Kong, which is 4 identical tiles. So it's a pair and then 3 Kongs. One of the Kongs are dragons and the other 2 Kongs are any even number. Just like the hand above, If you use 2s for the first Kong, you need to use 2s for the second Kong. If you use 4, you need to use 4. If you need 6, you need to use 6, 8, 8. Just as a reminder, it says any even number. You are in the 2, 4, 6, 8 section. That is a fixed section. You cannot make this hands with 1s, 3s, 5s, 7s, or 9s. You also cannot make this hand with 0s. You can use the white dragon as the dragon, but unless it says otherwise, which we'll get to when we go over the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 section, the O is usually only used in the year. So here Donna is going to work this out.
So we need a pair of flowers, and we need 4 twos. I'm going to use 2 dots because they're here. Now I need an opposing dragon. So I'm going to use red dragon. I need 4 red dragons. Now I need a suit that does not match the red. So I'm going to use 2 BAMs. Since I can't find the 2 BAM, I'm going to use a joker.
So here the dragon opposes both of these suits. So if you had used here the green dragon, then what would your 2 be?
I need to use 2 cracks. And they are right here. And I also use a joker for that.
Beautiful. And just imagine the same thing, but with 4s, with
right.
6s, with 8s. And if you go to our Files tab on Mahjong Community, we uploaded a file, and it's a chart tracker where you can sit there and write out every single hand and every combination. And Donna and I laughed because it reminded us when you were little and you had those pens that have the little colors that you could snap down. Get one of those pens and write as many combinations down as you could think of for each hand. And it really reinforces, or do what we're doing. Just sit with your tiles and make every hand. Okay.
So here's the 4s.
Beautiful. And the same would go on for 6s and 8s. So now we're going to move on to number 8. So this is the hand heard around the world that the league is so graciously reprinting the cards. So on the small card, if you got this, it's all in one color. If you got it in the large card, it is, as you see here, where it's a pair of 2s, pair of 4s, pair of 6s, pair of 8s in one color, and then 2 pungs of 2s in 2 different colors. So this is the same explanation that we gave above. The pungs have to be the same even number. However, they can be 2s, 4s, 6s, and 8s, and they must oppose or not be the same suit as the pairs of 2, 4, 6, 8. So it is 4 pairs and then 2 pungs. So Donna is getting that ready here.
So you need, okay, remember this is a concealed hand. You need a pair of 2s, pair of 4s, pair of 6, pair of 8s, and I'm using the dots just because they're here. Now I'm going to mix it up a little. This says,
Ooh.
like pungs, any even number. So I'm just going to use the 4s. So I need 4s and cracks,
Going a little crazy here.
4s and BAMs.
Beautiful.
3 suits.
So just to be devil's advocate, if this was 6s, can this stay 4s?
No, there must be 6s.
Okay.
You're making me work here.
I am.
We need 2 6s here, and we need 6 BAM.
So there you go. Beautiful hand. So that wraps up the 2, 4, 6, 8 section. We hope you have a great day and a great game. And if this is going to be all one video, you're going to hear us saying that a few times as we stitch it all together for one big video. We're back, and now we're doing the any like number section. And this is the hand number 2 that's giving a lot of players pause because we think the league did a great job dividing the pairs here because this really reinforces when you could use a joker and when you can make an exposure.
So you need 4 flowers, which I have in my hand, and I'm going to work off 9s. So I have 3 9 cracks, 3 9 BAMs. I have a pair of 9 dots with a joker. So it's my turn to pick. Okay, this is not Mahjong because there are 2 pairs of 9 dots. It's not a Kong of 9 dots. So I have to get rid of my joker.
And when you got rid of your joker, What are ways you could describe a joker?
You can say joker. I could say same tile, or I can name the last tile that was discarded. If it was a 6 crack, I could say 6 crack.
And in any of those occasions, can you call that last 6 crack someone else? It's a dead tile. So even if you say same or 6 crack, that doesn't make that prior discard come back to life. It's still a dead tile. So now what would happen if someone else saw what you had but went for it and wasn't playing defensively and threw a 9 dot?
I can call it because it's for Mahjong. So this is how the hand works out. So it's 4 flowers. Keep in mind, pair of 9 dots. Well, first I should have called this. Pair of 9 dots. Okay.
You had.
I did. There it is.
I was like, you had
3 9
nines.
cracks, 3 9 bams, and the second pair of 9 dots.
So let's say, going back a step, let's say you only had 3 flowers. So you didn't have Mahjong when that 9 dot was thrown. Would you have been able to make this exposure?
No, I can only call this for Mahjong because it's a part of a pair.
So a reminder, no jokers as a single, in a pair, and in like something like news or the year, and you cannot expose any singles, pairs, or anything like that until you have Mahjong.
Mahjong.
So we hope this helps. Dara and Donna are back, and now we're going over the consecutive run. The flower 1, 2, 3 hand, which is number 3, is a regular hand that many players will be comfortable with. It's either in 1 suit or 3 suits. If you have it in 3 suits and all in one color on the large card, the National Mahjong League is resending the card. We are just gonna show one quick example of that. So Donna's gonna do, which version are you gonna do?
I'm going to do the second version and mix it up a little. So you need 4 flowers, and I'm going to do 4. I'm not going to start with 1 because it can be any 3 consecutive numbers. So let's start with 2 dots. You need a pair, 3 bams, and a Kong of 4 cracks.
So as we talked about before, where there's fixed and flexible and mixed sections, the first hand in consecutive run says any 1 suit, these numbers only. Other than that, any consecutive run hand, unless it says otherwise in future years, can start as long as it ends by 9. So here it shows 1, 2, 3, but Donna did it in 2, 3, 4.
And it says any 3 consecutive numbers, and it says 3 suits. So make sure these are 3 different suits.
Perfect. Or you could do part A, which is all in 1
Right.
suit. Okay. So now we're going to move on to what I think is going to be a really fun hand that a lot of people already said is their favorite hand, and that is number 7. So as shown on the card, it is a group of single tiles, a pair of 1s, a single 2, a single 3, a single 4, a single 5, any 5 consecutive numbers. Now this is where reading is fundamental. Let's do a PBS video. The pair can move around. It does not need to stay fixed to that first number in that run. So the pair could be the second number in the run, the 3rd, the 4th, or the 5th. Wherever the pair is, that dictates what your Kongs are. So Donna is starting here with 5, and she's doing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9.
Okay.
So you don't even, I would say you don't even have to put it on the rack yet.
5, 6, 7, 8, and my pairs in this are going to be the 9s.
And that would not be exposed until she is Mahjong, because those are all singles and there's no jokers in any of that run.
So this means the Kongs must match the pair. It says in the parentheses. So I need to do a Kong of 9s and another Kong of 9s.
So that is one of the 75 ways this hand could be made. So it's 3 suits, and that pair can move around. It could be, the 5 could be the pair, the 6, the 7, the 8, or the 9.
So let's mix it up and do the 8s as the pair. So remember, the Kongs must match the pair. We have a pair of 8. So you need Kong of 8 and another Kong of 8s. So you've got dots, bams, and cracks.
So when you use all 3 suits And that run from 1 to 5 all the way up to 5 to 9 and anything in between, this hand can be made in 75 different ways.
And keep in mind, the pairs do not have to be in the beginning as stated on the card. It looks like it, but it can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be the 5s, it doesn't have to be the 1s. Just have fun with this hand.
And we will come back and do more on the Winds Dragons 3, 6, 9 and finish up the card with the singles and pairs. Have a great day and a great game. Modern Mahjong's back, and we're continuing our series where we go over making hands on the card to explain some of the hands, giving players pause. So now we're going to focus on the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. In our FAQ, which is downloadable in the files and we will link in the description, we don't really go through the details of the hands other than mention that the addition hand actually adds up to 10. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 we usually describe as a fixed section, meaning you can only use 1s, 3s, 5s, 7s, and 9s. The league's throwing us for a loop here and giving us a 10. It's another loop because White Dragon used a 0 is very rarely not in either the year or a hand with the year. So now we are seeing it in a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 addition hand. Donna's going to explain.
So here you have, if you read the parentheses, it says any 2 suits, and as Dara said, these numbers only. So you need 4 flowers, 4 1s, we're using 3 with a joker, 4 9s equals 10. So 1 suit, bams, and the second suit is the crack.
So hypothetically, if I was curious and saying, wait a second, aren't there 3 suits here? What's the answer to that question?
No, because this is still suit neutral. So the 2 suits are 1 bam, 9 bam is 1 suit, and the 1 crack is the second suit.
So let's say you have to keep that 0 because the White Dragon's only used as the 0. If instead of the 1 crack, could I use a 1 dot?
Yes, you can.
Can
That would be a second suit.
Can I use a 1 bam?
No, you cannot, because you have to use 2 suits.
Exactly. Okay. Hope that answered your question. Now we're going to move on to the next, which is not really a confusing hand, but it is a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 hand that either uses 1, 3, 3, 5 or 5, 7, 7, 9. But big news. News is in the hand. So we don't often see news in the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 section. So Donna is modeling it for us right here. It is a pair. So this is kind of like the pyramid. And a lot of people like knowing the patterns of hands. It helps you not have to memorize the hand if you just remember the pattern. So it is a pair, a pung, a con, well no, not a con, 4 singles, 3 of a kind, which is a pung, and then a pair. So the only thing you could use jokers in this hand are the 7s. You cannot use it in the pair, you cannot use it in the set of news, which are singles, and you cannot use it in the 9. But graphically, it looks like a pyramid.
That's any 2 suits. So, I mean, people do pair, pung, pung, pair. You could do 2, 3, 3, 2 to remember the pattern.
Exactly. And the same thing works for 1, 3, 3, 5. You cannot mix it up and do 1, 5, 5, 7. It has to be the numbers as written for this section. So if you have any questions about the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 section, let us know. The league did confirm that the soap in the other hand that we just discussed is a suit neutral 0. And if you have other questions, feel free to reach out. Our email is modernmahjong@gmail.com. And we are currently picking up our in-person card reviews and classes in South Florida and beyond. So we hope to hear from you. Have a great day.
Bye.
So now we are back into the Winds Dragon section. And hand number 2 is really interesting because the way it is written, players really have to read the parentheses. It is any consecutive number and then 3 different types of dragons. And the last is a Kong. It happens to be in the same color as the run. However, the league confirmed the Kong does not have to be the same suit. So Donna's going to explain this hand.
So this is why we're doing it this way. You need a pair of flowers. You cannot use a joker in this pair. These are all single tiles. Instead of 1, 2, 3, we're going to do 7, 8, 9. Consecutive run and single tiles, no joker, pair of green dragons, then a pung of 3 white dragons, and a kong of 4 red dragons. So these red dragons do not need to match this suit as they're.
So can I ask you to move the red dragons to where the green are? And then move however else, exactly. So any of these are valid. So it's just, remember, the color on the card means that they oppose, but just because the 7, 8, 9, or as it's written on the card 1, 2, 3, matches that Kong, the parentheses further explain that it's any 3 dragons.
3 dragons.
Now we're going to move on to just the general north and south section. So this is what we call a flexible section, but it's kind of a mixed section because you're given certain parameters. If you have a hand that has north and south, what numbers do you need to use?
So you need to use odd numbers, north and south, any odd numbers.
If you're using east and west,
You need even numbers.
so a reminder that in this section, if it doesn't state otherwise, which it does not in this section at all, any wind, it's as written. Now in the quint section, can you move over to the quint section? In the quint section, when you see N, is it a quint of north?
No.
So when you see the 4 norths in the quint, that in parentheses says any wind. So outside of the wind and dragon section, you have more flexibility on which wind. In the wind and dragon section, it's as written.
So this must be north and south, and this must be east and west. So north and south with odd, east and west with even numbers.
You got it. So in the remaining sections, we have the 3, 6, 9 section and the singles and pairs. And we think most of the hands in there are pretty self-explanatory. The 3, 6, 9, the addition is really just a 3, 6, 9 hand. They added the symbols. So that is like a regular 3, 6, 9 hand. The number 4 hand in that section, just note that the 3 and the 9, those Kongs match in suit. And in between them is a single 3, 6, 9 in an opposing suit. Doesn't have to be bam and crack, could be any 2 suits. Moving on to the singles and pairs, which we encourage people to go outside your comfort zone, because a lot of times those hands will come to you if you're not picking in jokers. We are going over this 3, 6, 9 hand in that section. It's the third one down.
So we're gonna do, so it's all pairs. So 3s, even though there's no 6s, 9s, 3, 6, 9 in another suit. And we're gonna do 6s. You can also do 3s or you can do 9s. The parentheses say 3, 6, or 9 in a third suit.
So it's very important about singles and pairs if you're learning to play for money. The value of these are all between, I think, 50 cents to 75 cents.
Yep.
You do not get a bonus for jokerless on this section. And the reason for that is, even if they're smushed together on the card like this, which I didn't, there you go. Even if they're smushed together on the card like this, they are not a Kong or a sextet or a quint or anything. They are pairs. And all of the hands are either singles or pairs. So don't be confused by spacing. Just note that this entire section must be made jokerless and the entire section is concealed. So we hope that you enjoy our review of all the different sections and hands that are giving people pause. And we are having many other videos. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get more information. And we have an active Mahjong community Facebook group where we share information and exciting posts and events. If you're in the South Florida area, we are doing a card class and luncheon on April 27th. We invite you to come join us. And it's going to be wonderful. You could either sign up with a group or sign up individually. And if you haven't received our emails yet, go to modernmahjong.com and subscribe. And with that, Donna and I wish you a great day.
Enjoy the new card.